As you'd expect, they've been really honest conversations. You've got two high-quality, winning coaches, two former All Blacks that care passionately about the team and what's best for the team. Where they've got to is that they haven't really clicked as coaches together. They have some slightly differing views around approach and methodology and just the way the game's played. And they've made a really brave and decisive call to part ways now. Leon's made the decision to exit the All Blacks as a result. And obviously he goes with our best wishes. He's a superb coach. He's obviously given a lot to coaching, before the All Blacks, most recently with the Blues and the All Blacks 15. So huge amount of respect and affection for him here. As a result, there's a couple of adjustments to the All Blacks coaching group that will go to South Africa. Leon's not going to be replaced per se. Scott Hansen will take on a few more duties as lead in the attack space. Tamati Ellison's going to get a bit closer on defence, and obviously we've got Jace Holland in there as well as a specialist attack coach. So that's the update from us, and I appreciate people will have questions, so happy to get into those.
Lindo, how did it get to this point where 5 test matches into a season you already have an assistant coach quit?
Yeah, well, I think, as I said, the conversations have been going for a few weeks, and really it's probably the intensity of preparing for test matches week in, week out that's highlighted that they're just not quite aligned. And as I say, they've made a really brave and bold early decision in the best interests of the team to call it now.
Should you have been aware of these issues before the All Blacks test season started? Should it take 5 test matches to figure out actually these two coaches are not aligned?
Look, I think this was not plan A, obviously. Everybody went into the planning phase for the All Blacks pretty aligned on where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do. But just over the past few weeks, as they've been preparing for games, that's just become a bit clearer that, as I say, they're not quite aligned. So that's why they've made the call, and it's a 4-year cycle, isn't it, to get to a Rugby World Cup, and better for the team that they've made the call early, and we really admire them for doing that.
Whose call was it? Did Razor say this isn't working, or did Leon say this isn't working?
No, it's a mutual decision. Yeah.
Is this a result of the loss to the Blues?
No, absolutely not. No, it's not performance related. We're really pleased with the direction of the team. Obviously, that night in Wellington, the team didn't hit their usual standards, and that's a one-off game. I think we saw the whole team respond really, really well at Eden Park. They've got a big couple of tests ahead of them in South Africa. So no, nothing to do with that.
Didn't accelerate the conversation?
No, not at all.
Has there been any input from the players in this decision? Or is it just solely between Scott and Leon?
No, it's been a discussion around professional approach to the game, and it's a decision made between Scott and Leon. Yeah, players are aware, obviously, now. But
was it causing a rift between players?
No, not a rift between the players at all. We've done all the usual things that you'd expect us to do in the wake of the Steinlager series. We review, post every campaign. There'll be another internal review at the end of Rugby World Cup, Rugby Championship, which is just a pulse check really on how the team's going. And the review was really positive around coaching, both from within the management group and the players.
Was it causing confusion among the players in terms of too many voices and who listened to it?
No, look, I don't think it's about too many voices. I know there's that sort of narrative that's out there. It's not the case. It's about alignment, and as I say, the two of them just, they're not quite on the same page with how that they see the game being played, and they've called it.
Was it just on the game, or is there a personality clash?
No, it's not a personality thing. You're all aware that Razor and Leon they've worked together for a long time, not so much recently. They've both been head coaches at different Super Rugby clubs over the past 6 or 7 years, and I think in that time just their approach has changed somewhat.
So there wasn't one moment that started this?
No.
Chris, will there be an intention long term to replace Leon and get someone else in?
No, at the moment, as I say, we're just going ahead with the group we've got, reallocating responsibilities. Remains to be seen. We're halfway through a international season, obviously, and so you can't just bring somebody new and cold, 2 days out from.
I mean, more long term, is it maybe something to think about next year, or definitely happy with the group?
Look, we honestly haven't discussed that yet. We're really happy with the direction of the group. There's quality coaches in there. Leon's a quality coach as well, and we'll address all of that at the end of the season, but it's not in the plans at the moment.
Is there a role for Leon in the future with the All Blacks?
Well, no, at the moment Leon's taking a break, and the team will carry on. We'd love to see him back in New Zealand rugby at some point. Obviously the Super Rugby roles are all full at the moment, and so nothing immediate, but we rate him incredibly highly. He's a quality man and has done a great job for the Blues in the All Blacks 15. So, it's a question for him at some point, but not immediately.
So these issues between Razor and Leon, did you know about these when he first signed on at the start of the season, and was it hoped that maybe they would be able to get onto an even playing field throughout the Test season?
I wouldn't say it was hoped for. I think it was the expectation that we all went in with when the coaching group was appointed, but it's just proven not to be the case.
So you knew that there was a clash of styles before the All Black season began?
In any high-performance coaching group, there needs to be a bit of friction and challenge around ideas, right? In this case, they've looked ahead, looked at a 4-year period, and have just called it that they don't think they're aligned enough, and that the best interests of the team are served by having a group that clicks a little bit better. And as you know, Ollie, that's critical for winning, right? We have the highest aspirations for this team. Nobody has higher aspirations than the coaching group and the team themselves, and they need to be at their best. So,
is there a frustration that it hasn't been able to work out?
Frustration? I don't think we're frustrated. At a level, obviously, there's an element of sadness because, as I said, Leon's a great coach, and he'll go on, and whatever is in the immediate future for him, he'll do really well. So no frustration. No.
You mentioned you won't replace Leon, or you haven't talked about replacing Leon, but is there a chance to use this as an opportunity to reassess the roles going forward and they might look different?
It's probably a question for Razor, I think. That's not something that we've contemplated. We've got a lot of existing resource in the group around attack between Scotty, Jason Holland, and obviously Tamati does a little bit as well. So we're really relaxed. We've got the resource that we need.
2 years ago, very similar situation with John Country and Brett Moore. Gone just as a team prepared to go to South Africa. Can you understand that around New Zealand right now, that reading these headlines, seeing stuff on social media and being like, here we go again?
Look, I can understand that today's news probably seems a little bit out of the ordinary for people. And I understand that people have got a huge amount of care for the team. We all do, all of us here and our fans. This is quite a different situation from the situation in 2022. It's complete coincidence that it happens on the eve of, probably the toughest test in rugby, going to Johannesburg and Cape Town. But this is not a performance-related situation. It's two people who just haven't quite got on the same page. They've realised that, and as I've said, that it's a really brave and decisive call from Leon in particular, because he's aspired to be an All Blacks coach his whole career. So I get people who have different views, Jamie, and that's comes with the territory, doesn't it?
Just on that last comment, did you get a sense that maybe Razor wanted to keep Leon on board and try and work this out, or?
Look, I think, as I've said, it just hasn't quite clicked. And you know, when you operate in a high performance environment all the time, you know how to draw those judgments. You know, I mean, Razor's many things. One of them is an astute judge of people and dynamics in teams. And look, we back where they've got to.
When were the players told, Chris?
Players were told this morning. Yep.
And just like overall, it is going to be a tough tour against the world champs. Probably not ideal time.
Oh, well, as I said, it's not plan A, is it? But the team's travelling the next 24 hours. They'll hit South Africa with clear heads. My experience with the team is they don't tend to get too phased by this. Obviously, there'll be care for Leon, but they've got a massive job ahead of them, don't they, as you point out. So I'm not worried at all. I don't think we're worried about that. We back this group to get right. It is a massive challenge, but how exciting, you know, to play the Springboks at Ellis Park. It's probably many New Zealand rugby fans' dream, right? And it'll be a dream if they have a good crack and get an outcome. So we're all in behind them.
How is Leon? Have you spoken to him?
Yeah, we've had lots of people have had contact with Leon. He's taking a break. You know, it's a change of plan for him, and he'll be, you know, getting his head around that.
No other sort of clashes in the coaching staff
No.
to be concerned with?
No.
Just back on the players, what's the feedback from players to Razor or to you guys that it wasn't working with Leon, or was it more a Razor Leon dynamic?
No, this is it's a dynamic between the two coaches. As I said, we did our review post Steinlager series. I can honestly say it didn't disclose any concerns from players. You know, the player feedback's really positive about the quality of coaching in the environment. We're really positive about that too. There's also a lot of newness in the team, Ollie. You know, a lot of new management, new player leadership, and it just takes some time to, you know, for everybody to find their feet and work things out, and that's what you're seeing here.
Was this ultimately about providing clarity for players?
No, I don't think there's a lack of clarity that exists for the players at all. It's, I feel like I'm repeating myself a bit, but it's two people who aren't quite aligned in their professional approach to coaching, and they've called that early, which, as I've said, you know, feels like a brave and decisive thing to do, and we're really supportive of them doing it.
So was it also about how things are handled off field as well as on field? Was there a different approach there?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you know, they've both been head coaches, so they're both used to being, you know, masters of their domain. But you know, Leon, I think, adjusted well into that changed role, and yeah, no issues.